Hey everybody, welcome to Brainiac Baseball's 1971 Seattle Pilots What If Scenario. If you're unfamiliar with this series is a what if scenario in which we ask, what if the Seattle Pilots never left Seattle after the 1969 season? In baseball history, the Pilots picked up and left 1 week before the 1970 season as Bud Selig, a used car salesman, bought the franchise and moved them to Milwaukee. And that's why the Brewers have similar color palettes to the Seattle Pilots. There wasn't enough time to change the uniforms and to recreate a different style. And so the Brewers basically have the same color scheme as the Seattle Pilots. And so in this scenario, we're going to continue to play the Seattle Pilots every year, at least through the 1977 season, which is the year the Seattle Mariners and the Toronto Blue Jays came into existence. Now, the Milwaukee Brewers do not exist. That we have not created that team in addition to keeping the Pilots. The Brewers won't exist until the 1977 season, where they'll step in for the Seattle Mariners. We have managed to keep the same stadium dimensions as Six Stadium. That's the original Seattle Pilots stadium. Now, they had 7,500 seats in that stadium with the intention of expanding to 35,000 seats. So we did take Six Stadium, add the additional seats to 35,000, and we just recalled it Brainiac Stadium, and that's what it'll be known until the Kingdome is built. I believe the Kingdome was actually completed in 1976, so we might switch to that stadium prior to the actual 1977 season in which the Mariners used it. So that's kind of where we stand with this scenario. Our 1969 season, if you hadn't seen, we actually went to the World Series and lost in 7 games. A bit of a bummer, but unexpectedly we made it to the playoffs. Now, the great thing about picking up a sim as an expansion franchise is you can do whatever the hell you want. There's no loyalty to any of the players. And that's kind of what we did initially, is to churn over our roster to the point where we had acceptable level of talented players. So clearly, now that it's 1971 and we've completed our second season, the 1970 season, our roster does not represent anything that the Pilots would have been, nor is it even close to what the Brewers had in 1971. And for me, that's what makes it fun. We're going to, recreate rosters. We're going to make foolish trades. We've made some bizarre free agent signings, and we're going to show you that today. We're going to show you the roster for the Seattle Pilots, and then we're going to play day by day, quickly, every game in spring training, following along with the transactions, seeing if there were any trades between the other teams, as well were there any free agent signings, or were there any injuries that might affect a club for throughout the entirety of the season. So we have a lot to cover here, but we should manage to get through it somewhat quickly. And then tomorrow we will have opening day, where the Pilots will face the Twins at Metropolitan Stadium. The matchup is Dave Boswell. No, wait, I'm sorry. Let me be clear. Yeah, Dave Boswell versus Dean Chance, who, as I mentioned in a previous video, were both in their final season in real life in 1971, and both players were actually on the Tigers. So let's take a look here really quick. Well, we're not in a hurry. We'll take a look at our roster here, and I'll explain a couple things to you. Yes, we have made some roster moves in the offseason. Additionally, the Seattle Pilots did not have a Double-A team team. They only had single A and triple A. They also had like low A and high A, where it's just combined as the A level here in Baseball Mogul. So we have the triple A and the A rosters where we had to figure out where they belonged, which would be better for our minor league players. We'll take a look here at the players that we picked up off the waiver wire. First will be Tito Fuentes, who was a San Francisco Giant in 1971. You'll see here that I have gone through, I'm just telling you this, I'm not going to show you every one, but I have gone through and I've made sure that every baseball player who had a 1971 Topps card is represented with their actual team. Of course, the Pilots did not exist in 1971, so I had to recreate the logo and the lettering and make that work for a 1971 card. So you're going to see all of our players on their 1971 card. If a player gets traded through somewhere in the season, I will update their card to show them on their new team. So if a player comes from the National League to the American League, I will go in and I'll edit that card that represents that player and make sure that they have the actual 1971 card representing them with their team name. Something I want to talk about, because I am a card collector, and if you follow this channel, you know that we open up boxes and packs of cards for all sports. You can find those playlists on our main page if you like. I want to talk just a little bit about the 1971 Topps card because you will see a lot of the things we're going to talk about throughout the season when we pull up these individual player cards. The 1971 Topps set had the most cards of any set up to that point. There were 752 cards in that set. Cards numbered 524 through 752 are all high number cards that had less series produced. So whether you're a schlub or whether you're an all-star Hall of Fame player, those cards value go up exponentially. So those are the higher, more sought-after cards in the set. This set, because of the all-black border, is very condition sensitive. It was so easy to chip or to ding the black borders that it's very difficult to find these cards graded in a perfect 10, let alone a 7 or 8, which would be very common for today's cards. This is also the first year that cards had an action shot. All cards beforehand were all posed or portrait style cards. And for example here, Tommy Agee, who was on the Mets, I believe, in 1971, we've recreated the Pilots card here. As you can see, it was an action shot. So these are horizontal cards showing select players in action shots. There are a few decent rookies in this set. Bert Blyleven has a rookie card. Dusty Baker, Steve Garvey, Ken Singleton, George Foster, they all have rookie cards. But it's the second-year cards, I think, that most people look for, like the Thurman Munson card and the Nolan Ryan card. Additionally, there were two fun little subsets in this 1971 Topps set. They had scratch-offs, and they also had player coins. So the Canadian version, the OPC set, not only had all the 752 cards that were in French on the back, but they also had a Topps traded set that was added to the end as a supplemental that showed all the players that had actually been traded. The Topps American set did not have that. So there's a little bit of a background on the 1971 Topps cards as we take a look at our roster. So we desperately needed a leadoff hitter, and we desperately needed someone to play second base. We did use Van Kelly at second base quite a bit. But we shouldn't have a need for that now because Tito Fuentes is a switch hitter. He does have a below league average rating of 77. He's very good defensively. He does have decent speed. He's got great range at second base. He's got a little bit of power. He had double-digit home runs last year for the Giants. Remember, if you're looking at the stats, our sim season starts in 1969. So 69 and 70 are actual sim statistics. And of course, he was on the Giants. They let him go, and we signed him as a free agent, a 3-year deal for $150,000 a year. Pretty fair price. Okay. Pardon me. Then we have Jose Cruz. That is correct, right? Yes. We have Jose Cruz batting second. He is our left fielder. We got him in a late season trade with the St. Louis Cardinals. He came over and absolutely crushed it. He batted .332 and 250 at-bats, 20 doubles. Well, he did have some speed, but wasn't very good at being safe at second base. But his speed ranking is a 92, and defensively, he's acceptable out there in left field. He's got good range, not a good arm, but turned out to be great. You can see him here in his Cardinals uniform, but with the Pilot's card. Batting third will be Joe Pepitone. We gave him a chance to play every day. Last year, not only did he play a Gold Glove level first base, but he hit 29 home runs for us. It had 85 RBI. Actually, I think we're going to put him in right field. Yeah, so he played a lot of right field last year. Also, Gold Glove in right field. He doesn't have the range. He doesn't really have an arm. But he was more than adequate out there, and he made up for whatever he lacks with his bat. Batting cleanup is Darren Johnson, who is our first baseman. You'll see him on the fills here, represented on his Pilot's card that we made. All the guy did was hit 34 home runs and have 95 RBI. Batted .267 with a .502 slugging percentage. With a 74 rating, he's in his walk year. Whatever we get from him will be good. I don't expect to contend for the pennant. So if he could just give us an affordable first baseman, then we're benefiting from having him on the team with that low rating. If he doesn't work out, then we just move Joe Pepitone to first. Then we'll be fine. Batting fifth is Tommy Agee, who had 40 stolen bases for us last year. We tried to make him a leadoff hitter. It really didn't take because he doesn't get on base enough. We dropped him down in the lineup, and he hit a bunch of home runs, which he has done for 2 years. So let's just put him in the fifth spot, see if he can't drive in some runs, get the occasional stolen base. He's under contract through 1972. Aurelio Lopez, we picked up in a trade with the Angels, a bad deal for us. But we did end up getting Aurelio Rodriguez, who's got a 97 rating at third base. He's got a great arm. He's great defensively at third. Let's put it that way. He's going to be our everyday third baseman regardless of how he hits. He does have a little bit of power. He doesn't steal at all. And he really doesn't hit very well. But we wanted someone who can help our pitchers, who, when you see who they are, you're going to want us to have a good player defensively at the hot corner. Here's Manny Sanguillen, who we got in a trade last year. A very repetitive thing with me. I am definitely a Trader Joe. He batted .285 for us. I remember he got off to a slow start. We kind of soured on him early, but he got it together. And put together a decent season. Again, he does not walk. 10 walks in 351 at-bats. So not a very good on-base percentage, but this is that era where having a good defensive catcher is all you really need. And, of course, Manny Sanguillen was one of the best catchers in this era, even though the game doesn't really represent him that way. And batting eighth will be our shortstop, Jerry Devanin. I think he's going to share time with Belanger. We'll look at him momentarily. But he's our right-handed bat. He'll bat versus lefties. Not a good hitter. Didn't have any home runs last year. But he does play a solid shortstop. Was on the Cardinals in real life. And we've got him there represented on his pilot's card. Okay, our fourth outfielder this year is going to be Johnny Jeter, a guy that I traded for a couple of years ago. He's been a September call-up. He finally had a good, showed us what, what he's capable of. I guess is what I could, with 29 at bats, what can you really say? But he did hit a home run. He does have a lot of speed. He can play defensively in any position. And all we really need him for is, 200 at bats to play when any of our outfielders need a break. As long as he stays healthy, it'll probably be his job. Rich Rollins, there's our third baseman from last year, our first 2 years, actually. He was actually on the Pilots and on the Brewers in 1971, so it was very easy for me to create a Pilots card for him. Diminished skills all the way around from where he started, but he did bat 280 last year, batted 281 the year before, so he is somebody that can fill in if Aurelio Rodriguez does not do well. He can also play first base if we really, really had it to have him in the lineup. So, Rich Rollins, 32 years old. I think he's the oldest player on our team, and a guy that we'll have to try to make do with him for another season after this year. Our backup catcher is a catcher we got late in the season last year, Clay Dalrymple. We got him from Baltimore. Not really good at anything in particular. He does have a great defensive rating and a great arm, I guess, but anything behind the at the plate instead of behind the plate is really tough on him. Did we let him go and re-sign him? Yes, that's what we did. So he got released. We re-signed him late in the year, and then we re-signed him after he was a free agent. So Clay Dalrymple is going to be sticking around, I guess. Here's Mark Belanger. Same thing happened to him. We traded for him. He really was a bummer at the plate. But defensively, you can't beat Mark Belanger. Gold Glove winner multiple times, and in real life, and someone who can play any position, and he'll get some at bats at short. Another player who went to free agency at the end of last year, we re-signed him. He's only 26 years old, but the game is giving him only a 72 rating. And then there's Van Kelly, who played second and third last year. He is a third baseman, but we played him a lot at second base. He's a left-handed bat, and because of that, he'll get plenty of at-bats this year. Didn't really have much to offer us at the plate, but his versatility was valuable. And then we have our minor league roster. We have Don Bosch, who was on the team last year. I guess we can go through them real quick. There's Don Bosch. I actually made him. He's on the Expos. I actually made some cards last year. Didn't turn out as great as they did this year, though. There's Bosch. Gary Holman we got from the Senators. Remy Hermoso. A lot of these had September call-up stats. There's Duffy Dyer. We got a card for him. He's going to be our third catcher. John Bocabella. He's going to be our number 4 catcher. Aaron Pointer. Gary Gestad, who was in real life was a rookie in 1971. So this is actually his rookie card. And in 71, there were 3 portraits on the rookie card, so I just clipped it out and blued it up. Steve Whitaker in AAA. We got Tom Ragland as well. Was he a draft pick or a trade? I think that was a trade. Yeah, we also got him from the Senators. Mike straight out of Compton. He is in single A. Probably should be he's 26 years old. He probably should be in AAA, but we've already got 2 catchers up there. I'm not really willing to get rid of Bocabella just yet. So Mike Compton will have to start off all the way back in Single A. There's Greg Pryor. He was a draft pick in our 1969 season. Dave Parker, 19 years old now, not ready for prime time, but he batted .320 with 13 home runs at 100 RBI in Single A last year. After this season, he'll jump up to Double A or Triple A, depending upon what 1972 brings. Dan Meyer, another draft pick. This one was from the 1970 draft. First baseman. Mitchell Page from the 1969 draft. Reggie Walton from the 1970 draft. Fred Kendall, a catcher that we got from the Padres. That makes sense. He's a 72 Padre card right there. And we're back to Tito Fuentes. So I guess Tito Fuentes is really the only batter that we signed from the free agent market. A lot of these guys we got in trades late last year, so we haven't really played them for a full season yet. We did make some moves, though, with our pitching staff. Oh, let's take a look at these guys. This is going to be the tough part, guys. Of course, we got Dave Boswell last year from Minnesota. He won 22 games in our 1969 sim. So after he got off to a rough start with Minnesota, we traded for him, thinking that maybe we could see a little more of this, and we did not get that. We got the worst of Dave Boswell. And now that I know that the 1971 season was his last year in Major League Baseball, in real life, I wonder what will happen with him. He's got an 85 overall rating, and he's getting paid a lot of money through 1974 because I think I re-signed him. Not only did I re-sign him, I gave him some big money homes. So yeah, that's not going to be great. We'll have to keep our fingers crossed. Or if we're in rough shape by the trade deadline, maybe we try to dump him off on somebody else, which is often something that I will do. Our number 2 starter is Bruce Brubaker. Brubes got injured a couple of times last year, so he didn't really reach his full potential. He had 20 starts, went 4-5, so he didn't factor into a lot of decisions. He only had 123 1/3 innings pitched. His health is already terrible. So, as our number 2 starter, how long will he last? I don't know. But we don't have many other options, as you'll see here now. Jerry Stevenson is back. We traded him at the trade deadline to Minnesota, where he pitched better than he did with us. Had over 200 innings pitched in total. The walk to strikeout ratio is not great. And now he's below league average with a 79. He's still got the blazing fastball, rated a 93. We signed him to a 1-year deal as he was a free agent for not very much money. And somebody's got to eat innings. So again, as long as my pitchers stay healthy, they're going to get abused. But, maybe we won't, blow through so many bullpen arms. Now, this is an interesting pitcher here. This is Jorge Rubio. Rubio was an Jorge Rubio was on the free agent list when we started the sim in 1969. He was eventually signed by the Yankees, who immediately gave him $1 million. His contract expired. He was signed by the Giants and got $34,000. They didn't even play him. They let him go, and then we signed him for $58,000. So, they did use him for 12 games, all in relief. His endurance is pretty low. It's a 63. But I like what he's done as a major league pitcher. So why not give him a shot? He was cheap. He's going to give us 5-6 innings max as a number 4 starter. What else can we do? It'll be interesting to see what happens. This is a minor league card for Rubio from the 60s. Okay, and then guess what? We still had one more year with Camilo Pascual, who was out of baseball after the 1969 season. We got him through 15 starts in 1970. We got him from the Senators in that one big Senator deal that we did. He was terrible. He got injured. He came back late in the season, and we used him because we needed him. And he's going to be our number 5 starter. I don't know. I don't expect anything, from him. But that's all we've got to work with for now. Okay. Our closer for now is left-hander Denny Riddleberger. Pitched in 78 games. He was a rookie in the 1971 season. And you'll see that he's pitched pretty well for us over those 2 years. He had 11 saves, 6 blueys. Mike Marshall was our closer. We ended up trading him away, and that's when Riddleberger took over. He's perfectly fine. I suspect he'll be fine this year. Will he be a reliever all year? Probably not, because we have other options. I did sign Dick Raditz off the free agent market. He was out of baseball by 1971. Overall, rated a 76. Not much of a fastball. That's the only pitch he has that's any good. It's rated an 83. He pitched in 51 games for Minnesota, and he had a 5.19 ERA. That's coming off a 1.75 ERA. So we'll find out who he really is. But, he was cheap, and we needed him. Okay, we did also sign Ron Peranowski off the Twins. He was a free agent. Had a bad year. Affordable. And not very good at anything. But he could go out there as a left-hander and be a loogie for us. A left-handed one-out guy. Now here's Ken Sanders, who was actually on the Brewers in real life. I signed him as a free agent. He led the American League in saves in 1971. So he will be the next man up in save opportunities. He has a little higher endurance, which is why I'm using him out of the gate, down the bullpen roster. But he's been nothing but good in real life, and I'm sure he'll get a crack sooner or later at being a closer. But for now, he's a setup man. And then we have Ramon Hernandez, who we picked up from Pittsburgh. Did not have very high ratings last year, and he did a very admirable job. A pitcher who we really probably weren't ever going to use because his rating was already low. But after we traded everybody away, he filled in really well, and so he'll be on the roster. And then finally, Ray Peters, a player who really was on the Pilots. We gave him 38 games last year with a 4.29 ERA. 29 strikeouts in 35 2/3. That's about as good as you're going to get with a strikeout percentage. Fastball topping out 91 miles an hour. But his curveball is his best pitch. So, he's going to be our long reliever. And then, yes, folks, Herbal the Gerbil is back. Ron Herbal coming back, pitching solid. He had a great year for us last year. We got him in a trade with the Gigantes, and he was really reliable. A guy that could close, but his endurance is so much higher. We even gave him a start last year. If we really run out of starters, he might be someone we have to go to. And then you're going to be shocked, I tell you, shocked. John Gelnar is still on the team. He made 24 starts for us. You might be saying, well, why isn't this guy in your rotation? Well, it's a numbers game. He is still arbitration eligible, which means he is not on a major league contract. So he's just the odd man out for now. If any of our players, especially our starters, especially Pasquale or maybe even Rubio, if they do not do well, they have to be cut. I just can't put them in the minor leagues because they're on major league deals. So Gelnar is going to have to start the year in AAA for us and then get called up as a sixth starter, perhaps. He is arbitration eligible at the end of this year, so he will be on a major league contract next year. So Gelnar, he's not the only one, though. Ron Lock 'em down Lock, who we got from the Mets and the Tommy Agee deal, been nothing but awesome for us. And we're like, sorry, sucker, you got to start in AAA for us. We will definitely see him. It won't be long, I don't think. Jack DeLauro, we got him as a late season call-up, and he sucked. But we need people. And he's got a pilot's card. That's cool. There's Bill Edgerton. Got a late season call-up. Gary Timberlake. Bringing Sexy back. Earl Stevenson. Again, you see here, all these guys got a little bit of a workout. Now, not quite ready for prime time. When we were out of it last year, we said, hey, let's bring up the youngsters. Why not? So we called up Dennis Leonard and Dick Ruthven, single A pitchers that we drafted after in the 1969 season. In real life, rookie cards for every team had two photos on it, two players. I actually created this card to look exactly like those cards, and I think I did a damn good bang-up job. I think I got the font right. I got the editing good. I mean, it looks nice, right? I mean, I deserve a little bit of praise, right? So will we see Dennis Leonard and Dick Ruthven this year? We probably will. This is Dennis Leonard's stats. He did not pitch well in 6 starts, 6 also relief appearances. More walks and strikeouts. But, he's not ready yet. But he will be, and he will help us out for sure. Here's Dick Ruthven's card. He was pretty solid. We tried not to overdo their innings pitched. He is still technically a rookie. And he struck out 28 batters. Pardon me. Only walking 11 in 47 innings. So Dick Ruthven, at 19 years old, will probably be the first of the two to get called up. But that won't be until, May or June. And we signed Sid Mungie, right? Yeah, he was just a guy who was a free agent. I liked his numbers. Minor league deal. We paid him more than, quadruple the minor league salary. But he's somebody who is 19 years old but has not played in the minor leagues yet. And there's Tom Carroll, who we drafted in the 1970 season. Same with Dave Frost, who should be a good starter sometime in the future. And Pete Vukovich, also a starter. He was 4-10 in single A last year. Lance Rotson, who at one point was a very high-profile Dodgers prospect who never really panned out, but he could be a starter for us. Also, that endurance doesn't help. You know what? Let's change him to a starter. And if we do this now, change him now, over time, the endurance will increase. So let's do that. And then we're back to Dave Boswell. So there you go, folks. That is our roster for now. If you've watched either 2 seasons that we've played, you know that I wheel and deal all year. I mean, nobody on this roster is untouchable with the exception of maybe like Dick Ruthven. And Dennis Leonard, I guess, would be 2 players. And Dave Parker. I love Dave Parker. There's a couple of decent players. We'll just show really quick. We're not going to get into this. But here's the draft for this June. Jim Rice is there. George Brett. Frank, you son of a bitch, Tanana. Bruce Sutter and Larry Christensen. Keith Hernandez, Rick Roden, Candelaria. We have the 5th pick overall. And the computer AI is stupid as shit. So, there's a possibility we could get Rice or George Brett or Keith Hernandez. I wouldn't say no to Frank Tanana. I'm not going to draft a closer. I would draft Rick Roden if those were my only options. Everybody else would be are going to be players that are going to go to other teams. So our first round pick will be someone good. Okay, so here we are. We are basically ready to go day by day, and we'll do it quickly as we look at the transactions. This is what's already happened in 1971 since we flipped the calendar. So there was a trade. Oh, yeah, Mike Epstein went from the Senators to the A's. You see I've already created his card. So he's actually represented by the A's. I hope you think this is cool. I mean, I would have done this for myself if I hadn't even been doing these videos. That's how much free time I have on my hands. He got a couple schlubs in return to Washington. Frank Quilici was a free agent. Quilici, who signed with the Reds. John Donaldson from the A's signed with Washington. Bert Campaneris from the A's signed with the Yankees. Oh, the Tigers traded Robert Gilhooly, the guy that was the bane of our existence last year, thanks to Julio for finding a card to represent him. He was terrible. He even batted a leadoff for the Tigers. He's on the Astros. He got traded. In return, the Tigers got Vern Rule, who actually played for the Tigers. I mentioned before that I went to school with Vern Rule's niece. And Mike Cubbage, who just passed away this year, came in that deal. R.I.P. Cubbage. There's our signings for Jorge Rubio and Sid Monge. Then Cleveland traded Richie Scheinblum, kind of a fourth outfielder, pinch hitter, to the Senators. You see him represented on his new card. So the Senators, oh no, I guess did he get traded again? Wait a minute here. How did Richie Scheinblum get to the Astros? Oh no, he was on the Senators. Okay, so I have to change that, and I will. Oh no, it's in the National League. That's why I didn't fix it. I didn't do any players in the National League. If they come from the National League to the American League, I will update them. Okay, that's what happened there. In return, Cleveland got Tony Scott, good speedy outfielder, and Bill Grief. There's our signing of Jerry Stevenson. Jack Hamilton got signed to the Yankees. He was actually out of baseball. And then a small trade as the Cubs traded Al Montreal to Baltimore, and Baltimore gave up Adrian Devine and Enos Cabell. Good player. Then two more contracts. The Royals signed Don Pavlich, who was actually on Boston in real life. So you see we updated that card. And the Padres signed Denny LeMaster, or Denver. They call him both. So he's actually on the Padres. Okay, so we're going to get through this to be ready for opening day tomorrow. I was pausing because I was thinking what I usually do is every 7 days I look at our spring training stats on whatever team I'm controlling and see if anybody deserves to get jumped over for an everyday position. So let's go ahead and play day one. It's going to make me take it out of commissioner mode. All the minor league team names are accurate. I did that myself. All the uniforms are correct. All the logos are correct for 1971. Everybody is on the right position in this game. Yes, we're going to turn it off. Okay, it's simulating, and shit just went down. What happened here? Okay, a lot of things happened. A trade of so much. All right. So Art Shamsky, I got to make some notes here. Please be patient with me. Art Shamsky is now on the Royals, so I got to change his card to the Royals with cheese. signed as a free agent. Gene Oliver, first baseman, signs with the Yankees. He was out of baseball, so we don't need to change his card. And he's in Double-A, so who cares? Shamsky, is he on the Major League roster? No, he's in Triple-A for the Omaha Royals. But I'll still update that card. Then we had 2 retirements. Johnny Werhas, who I believe hit a grand slam against us, nicknamed Peaches, from Highland Park, Michigan. Okay, nope. I don't recall that then. Oh, no, he had 3 home runs in a game. That's what it was. He had 3 home runs in a game. Does that happen on his transaction? No, it doesn't show that. But that's what it was. Those 3 home runs all happened in one game against us. Okay, also, Ruben Amaro, who was out of baseball, retires. And, okay, then we have, switched around. We have a trade. Rico Petrocelli, who has bounced around and was received in an off-season trade in November of last year to Philadelphia from the Angels, who signed him as a free agent, has now traded him back to Boston. He's shipping up to Boston. And he said his card is already ready. I don't even have to fix it. That's beautiful. So, nobody wants a Rico Petrocelli. All he does is produce. And in return, they get a president, Larry President, and Alan Bannister, who wasn't even in the majors until 1976. All right. Cool. So we did have a trade, and then we've suffered 2 injuries. Gary Gentry of Freddie's Mets is going to miss the first month of the season due to a broken forearm. He got injured he got injured every year? He has. He gets injured every year. That's too bad. And Santiago Guzman will be back in a couple of days. Okay. Next day. This will go quicker. Joe Niekro signs a 4-year extension with the Cubbies. I got to go in there. Yeah, I do have to go in there and update that. He was on the Tigers in real life, but we don't need to update that. And Greg Bolo, we never figured that out, is going to miss the first 2 weeks of the season. Everyday starter for the White Sox. All right, next day. There is a trade. Oh, Montreal, who was looking good. They made so many great trades last year, including getting Boog Powell. That was in '69, actually. He had 36 home runs and 107 RBI. And you know what? They just get rid of him. He wasn't even going to be a free agent until 1974. So he goes to the Cardinals, and in return, St. Louis gives up Ed Crosby. I don't need to change that card. So he was actually in the majors that year. Shortstop. And Dick McVeigh. Not really a starter or a closer. That doesn't seem like a good deal for Montreal at all. But I'm sure, did either one of them make the roster? No, single A. Because, don't forget, they were an expansion team the same year that the Pilots were an expansion team. So they're still trying to build their roster. They've done a better job. But we went to the World Series. Okay, here we go. Well, give me another date. Nothing. See, it's going to be a little bit of this here. Jerry Groats, my Scroats, signed as a free agent for 1 year to the Braves. That's from Freddie's Mets. Cool. I bet 340 in 94 at bats. Now on the Braves roster. Nothing. Oh, yeah. Bill Moran of the Phils. Minor league guy. No big deal. Okay. We're a week into spring training. Playing a day. Playing a day. Automatic save. So far, I've only got to update one card. That's a good thing. Thinking about it. I want to give a shout out to my actual Detroit Tigers. Making the playoffs for the first time since 2016. Of all my years on this planet, and I was born in 1971, I think this is the most surprising thing that's happened in Detroit sports in my lifetime. Because when the Tigers won the World Series in '84, wasn't really a big surprise. They were really great. They went 35-5 out of the gate. So nobody was going, I'm so shocked. Okay, the Phillies, Greg Luzinski is going to miss a month, so he'll miss, a week of the season. He's only a single-A player just yet. And he was an actual rookie in 1971, as you can see by the Phillies rookie card. Let's play it, eh? We're up to the 12th now. Nothing is happening. 13th, nothing is happening. We're going to look at our roster and look at the stats here when we get halfway through, which is going to be right now. Oh, there's a trade. Oh, no, Rico Petrocelli's on the move again. Back to California where he started. This guy, I hope he didn't pack up all of his stuff in a U-Haul for as many times as he had to move. Look at this. Okay, he was an all-star in 1970. He got traded from the Giants to Baltimore in 70. He was an all-star. Contract expired. Signed as a free agent by the Angels. Season hadn't even started yet. He was traded to Philadelphia, from Philly to Boston, and now Boston back to California. Wait, and Vukovich is included in this deal. Interesting. So, Petrocelli back on California. That's nuts. John Vukovich never even played in the majors yet. Philly to California, California to Boston. Okay. And then Pete Makinen, future manager. And he was a draft pick by the Angels, traded to Boston. Okay. Cool. All right, let's look at our lineup. And we're just going to look at the AAA stats. Spring training. So Fuentes off to a good start, batting .308. We like that. Jose Cruz batting .260. Okay, it's spring training. Joey Pep batting .278. He's got a dong. Darren Johnson. Spadudios. 194. One extra base hit. Tommy Agee batting .289. 3 stolen bases. Nice. Aurelio, batting .192. That's fine. If he bats .220, I'm fine. Manny Sanguin, batting .333. 39 at bats already. Jerry Devanin, batting .276. Jeets, batting .400. Rich Rahl, batting .256. The Rimp, batting .292. Belanger batting .250. That's all we could hope for from that guy. Van Kelly batting .207. And then the minor leaguers, .283. Gary Holman batting .347. Remy Hermoso batting .292. Duffy batting 176. Boca Bella batting 188. Well, our catchers suck. Aaron Pointer, 286. How are they finding time for all these at-bats? They've got to have like split squads or something going on. Gary Gestad. Whitaker batting 226. Ragland batting 133. That's not going to get you a starting job. Mike Compton batting 269. Greg Pryor batting 196. Remember Pryor, 1 for 18 when we called him up. Dave Parker batting 375 with 5 home runs. This guy might come up this year. They totally disrespect him defensively. That's a sham. He should be a 90 with an 88 arm or something. Dan Meyer, 188. Mitchell Page, 273. Reggie Walton, 304. Fred Kendall, 286. 166. Wait, was I reading the wrong stats? No, 304. 188. And we're back. Okay. And let's see how our pitchers are doing. Halfway through spring training. Okay, Dave Boswell's looking good. Bruce Brubaker, not starting. I mean, he's got an 83. I don't know what that's about. Jerry, oh, he sucks. Jorge Rubio, looking good. Camilo Pascual, looking okay. Cool. Riddleberger getting blowed up. How does he like his burgers? Riddled with mad cow disease. Got to get that out early. Raditz, okay. Paranowski, better than okay. Kenny Sanders, not good. Ramon, good. Ray, very good. Herbal the Gerbil. That's not good. John Gelnar, okay. He wants that starting job. Ron Locke's ready to lock it down. Jack DeLauro, okay. The Edge, good. 692 for Sexy Back, that's not good. Stevenson, not great. My name is Earl. Dennis Leonard. Dick's looking good. Dick Ruthven is looking good. I got to make sure I phrase that properly. And Sid Monge, Sid the Kid, he's only 19, looking pretty good. Okay, let's continue to the end of spring training. Play a day. What do we got in store as it saves? R.I.P. Dikembe Mutombo, who died today, age 59. R.I.P. Big guy. All right. Feel free to wrap it up. There we go. Okay, nothing. Play one day. Jack Hyatt, signed as a free agent by the Padres. He is a catcher and was on the Giants last year for 2 years. Okay. Play a day. We're up to the 18th. Nothing. 19th. Nothing. Let's look at the free agents and see who's left. Because sometimes by now they're not asking a ton of dough. If they are at 16.5, that means they are a minor league player who's never been on a team. Anything more than that, and they're actual major league players. I guess maybe Terry McDermott is not, but because his overall rating is high at 75, maybe he's asking for a little bit more. But Tom Tresh, Rick Reichert, and Woody Held are all former major leaguers, but none of them are enticing. Now, Steve Blass with a 77, I mean, that could be helpful. Of course, in real life, he just fell off a map, right? He had Steve Blast disease. He couldn't throw it over. In fact, he already's walked 138. So, I mean, that would not help us, right? I mean, that would just be an exercise in futility. Not asking a lot of money, and he might be able to eat some innings, but I would just simply lose my mind every game. And then you don't want that. Dick Hall. He was actually playing at age 40, but we don't need any more relievers. We've got minor leaguers ready to go if we need them. Mike McCormick at 30,000. I mean, he could barely be a starter for us. He was on the Yankees in real life. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Come on. I mean, there's really no. I mean, there's some players that we got rid of, like Bucky, Bob Hendley. Yeah, so there's nothing here. Okay. We're going to keep it rolling. We're almost done, guys. Play another day, and we've got Bucky Brandon being signed. I just tell you how much he sucked for us last year. 0-5 after we traded for him. And he was bad. And the Yankees are going to stick him in Double-A. No big whoop. And then Tito Francona retires at age 37. He did get an at-bat last year. One game, 3 at-bats for Atlanta. And he played a little bit in 69. We're up to March 21st. Nada. 23rd coming up after they save it. Saving it all good. Now, if you're new to the channel, you may not know this, but every 40 games we do giveaways. They are free if you're a subscriber. Be a subscriber. Like this video as well, and you can get in on all the free giveaways you like. I am trying to start a membership where it's only $1.99 to get in on bigger giveaways, but YouTube blocked me from doing that, so I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to figure it out. Oh, big trade! Oh, it's a big one! Dick Dietz going from the Giants to St. Louis. Had a career year last year. I mean, what are the Cardinals doing with like McCarver and stuff? That's weird, but he is on the roster. And in return, the Giants give up Goose Gossage, single-A Giants team. Orlando Gonzalez. In Baseball Mogul, Orlando Gonzalez will walk 100 times. I don't know why. He always does. It doesn't show him having a good eye yet. But in my experience, he always does. And it's the lesser yount. It's Larry. He's the pitcher. I'm just as good. He's not. No. 26th. Oh, no, Rico Petrocelli. Oh, he's going to be injured. It's because he's got a stiff back from sitting in the Ryder truck. Oh, he's got bruised ribs. He's going to miss a week. He'll miss opening day, but he'll be back for the second day, I guess. Rico just doesn't know what the heck's going on. Just needs a week vacation at this point. 27th. We're getting there, guys. 28th. 29th. 30th. Saving it up. Let's look at the calendar, make sure I'm not going to screw this up. Come on. If you look over here at our finances, we don't have a lot of cash. And we're actually projected to lose money, more than what we have. Okay, an injury to Rick Wise. So the Phils, their 25-game winner from last year, is going to miss almost the entire first month. Let's look at the calendar. Okay, so we're on the 30th. So we can play until we get to the 1st. Okay. We know what we're doing. All right. The 31st, and we're getting to the first Tuda. Nothing? No. I thought I hit play one day. Okay. Yeah, nothing. All right. So we are there. We are at opening day. Boswell versus Dean Chance. We'll look at Minnesota out of curiosity, see what they have to offer. And this is what they did last year. Jim Nettles is going to be in center field. Is that right? Yeah. He didn't even play last year, which is why he has no stats. Fred Frazier, there he is. Looks like he's going to be the second baseman. He has never played in the majors. They got Rod Carew. They got Charlie Manuel, who had 22 home runs. They have Greg Nettles. You got all the Nettles you can handle. I think Greg Nettles was no, he wasn't a rookie, my bad. George Mitterwald is the catcher. What's his arm look like? An average arm. Bob Allison will get a chance to play every day after not playing every day. Well, he's not even in baseball anymore. One-time prolific home run hitter. And Leo Cardenas will be their shortstop. So, if they were already on the Twins, I didn't have to do anything. I just had to upload the actual baseball card. That made things so much easier. Harmon Killebrew can't get a job. Cesar Tovar can't get a job. John Roseboro, that makes sense. He's down to a 63. Eric Soderholm's got an 86 as a third baseman. And yet he cannot get the job from Greg Nettles. And you see what everybody else did on this team last year. Yeah, I don't see any free agent signings here. Let's look at their pitchers. Okay, so they signed Ricky Clark. I don't know what they did. Let's find out. Yeah, Dean Chance was already there. Ricky Clark got injured. He came back to make one start. That's what happened last year. You'll see him with his Twins card. They have Dick Estelle. We remember him well, don't we? 18 and 14 last year. Nick Wilhite, Sucky Suckersons, and Pete Ham, dropping the hammer. And then the bullpen is Tom Hall. He had 23 saves last year. Bob Gebert. Bill Soup Campbell as a rookie, making it in there. Al Worthington. And Jerry Kreider pitched well last year. Bill Zepp makes the roster, did not play last year. And then we're in AAA where Jim Perry's at. With a 69 rating, so yeah, he's not going to make it. Unless someone gets injured, you look at other people. Oh, there's our Dick Bainey. We gave him a go. He was bad. Goltz. Dick Bates. We gave him 2 Dicks. Bates was not good. And they do have injuries. They have Jim Cott. I know it's Cott. Jim Cott, who's only got a 73 at age 31. 32, I guess. So he's going to miss 3 months, and, I mean, what good is he at this point? and someone named Bill Whitby, who made 7 starts and then blowed up. Okay, so there you go. Now you know what's up for tomorrow. We're going to come back tomorrow and play opening day, kick off a brand new season. Be a subscriber to get in on our free giveaways coming up. My goal is to have one 1971 card at least in each giveaway to commemorate the season that we're playing. It could be anybody from any team, but hopefully someone good and in decent condition. That is the plan. All right. I appreciate everyone watching. Like and or subscribe, and we will be back tomorrow with opening day. Until then, everyone, have a great day.